各位这里是意见. This section is about losing dogs who are tracking you. So that's the scenario. You are being tracked not only by a human being, but by a dog. Not just a dog by itself, but it's a dog with a human master is tracking you. Trying to lose dogs is not a guaranteed science. There are techniques which can help, but you have to remember that breaking free of a dog requires a high degree of luck in most cases. You should practice virtue so as to not have bad luck. First and foremost, you should not have losing the dog as your prime concern. Your prime concern should be putting distance between you and the dog. When enough distance is established, the dog will lose your trail. So this is important to understand. Don't think about losing the dog. Think about putting distance, time and distance between you and the dog. The time and distance, when it's big enough, will cause the dog to lose your trail. Facts that you need to understand and comprehend, integrate into your psyche. A dog will track you for about 8 hours. Dogs start off extremely fast, but they get tired real quickly, right? So they slow their pace. After the initial burst, they slow down pretty much. They'll still travel about 8 to 10 miles per hour for the 8 hours they're good for tracking. So they go something like 35 miles an hour for like the first minute or something. But then after that, real soon after that, they go down to about 8 to 10 miles an hour for about the 8 hours that they track you. This is important to understand because you need to know how fast is the thing tracking on flat ground. Okay. So this is why we put emphasis on breaking your trail and putting distance and time between you and the dog. It's the crucial objective. Eventually the dog will give up and lose you with enough time and distance. So outrunning the dog it's a test of your endurance and your cleverness. Move with the wind. Okay? So that it carries your scent the opposite direction. Move with it. Walk with the wind. Not into it, but with it. Dogs track you by scent. So don't run into the wind. It will blow your scent back towards the dog. Don't try to hide your scent either. This doesn't work. Either the dog will continue to track your human scent, right, regardless of the other scent, or the dog will associate the other scent with your scent, and then if they lose your human scent, they can still track the other scent. You can actually lose the dog but end up still being chased because the dog is following the second scent. So obviously don't do this. Okay, so using some popular, using the smell of a female dog, it can work, but it has these 4 crucial problems. 1, you probably won't have a female dog scent available at the time suddenly you realize you're being tracked. You have it on hand? Probably not. The tracker dog might be female. You got a female scent, but she's female tracking you. No good. Right? The dog might be trained good enough to reject it. Just because, it's a female dog in heat or whatever. The dog might be trained to ignore that. And if you get any of it on you, even just a drop, you just screwed yourself. Think about it, you know what I mean? Now that scent is on you. Now that dog is all over you. Right? So it's probably best to just ignore that, counter scents, right? Again, chemicals may make a smell vanish to your nose, but probably not to the dog. Also, if a human tracker smells something distinct, like for example bleach, they'll know what you're up to. So then the tracker knows, and the dog probably still smells you regardless. Right? Repellents may or may not work, and you don't want to rely on them because even if they work, you probably won't have it at the time. So the best tool is your own genius, your own mind, your technique and how you implement it. Don't rely on the tool, don't rely on the sense, rely on your technique, rely on your own skill. When being tracked by a dog, do not forget that there is a human tracker as well. You have to combine the art of losing the human tracker with the art of losing the dog. The 2 basic principles are, it boils down to slicing the track, severing the track, right? And then make time between you and the dog. So you want to put time between you and the dog, and you want to do whatever you can to break your track, right? So slicing the track, right? Doing things which physically break the trail, going into water, moving over rocks, crossing over obstacles and moving in water. These are also ways to delay the dog, like to put time between you and the dog the same way. So a lot of the techniques which slice the track are also the techniques which put time between you and the dog, which is good because then it's the same techniques which serve both purposes, right? When you cross over obstacles, this kind of, it makes the dog take longer because the dog, he's got to like go over the obstacle too. So that sort of breaks the track and it also delays the dog, right? The two best options for slicing the track, though, find some kind of horse or vehicle or bike. Really, the moment you get on a horse or a bike or a vehicle, that's it. Game over. It's done. That's it. That's the end of the chase. You get on a bike and you start hauling ass, and that dog's maybe 20 minutes behind you, and you take off on a bike. The chase is over. The dog's lost you, right? Or if you go into a place that has lots of human sense, don't be scared to go into a town or to use a busy street, if possible, right? Make sure that you don't make easily predictable moves, right? You need to duck and weave, bob and weave. Be sly, be clever. Act like you don't want to get caught, okay? So delaying means this is where you must have a good understanding of nature, right? Nature, she will protect you if you accept your role as her child. She will hide you if you understand your place, right? So know the world around you. Understand your connection with the world around you. Understand nature. Understand it. Accept it. And it will protect you, right? Heat disperses over scent, right? Over scent. Heat disperses scent, right? So what I mean is like something like the smell gets trapped in the thing when it's cold, and then heat causes it to rise above it, right? You can time your movement to take advantage of this. If you move at night, your scent doesn't get dispersed as easy as during the day, okay? And during really, really hot parts of the day, your scent is dispersed very quickly, whereas during gentle heat, kind of freeze it, but then it lingers in the air, right? So during the gentle times of day, like early morning, later in the afternoon, when it's not hot out, right? When it's like the gentle times of day, right? You need to try to hit water, rocks, okay? You don't want to walk across regular ground because your smell will just sit there for hours, okay? And again, move with the wind. And there's so many other things that you can do. Too long to discuss in this video, but just know how nature works. Know how the wind, the water, the earth, the ground, the leaves. You need to know how these things are, right? Then you can hide within them, right? You don't hide by trying something abnormal. You hide by being clever about knowing how nature is. Just disappear into it. That's it, bro. Just disappear into it, right? When you're one with it, you just blend with it. You just disappear into it. Okay, so delaying, like I said earlier, it's similar to slicing, right? It causes the dog to slow down and struggles to maintain your scent trail, right? Thus buying you time to create distance and eventually slice the trail completely. Okay, so in summary, put time between you and the dog, which means doing things to slow the dog down. Hey, move with the wind. Don't change directions at obvious places. Move over obstacles. Then slice the track, which breaks the trail. Stop and hide when it's morning time and the sun is coming up. Your scent will linger the most during the gentle heat. Travel in water and along hard surfaces such as rocks. Go through towns, campsites, anything which other human beings' scent is present. Try your hardest to find a vehicle, a horse, or a bike. This is the only true way to lose the dog without any doubt. And I'll end the video with an uncomfortable topic, but it's going to come with violent means. I don't recommend this, obviously, unless under the most life or death extreme situation. You can try to poison the dog by leaving a small bit of poison along the way. Right? If the dog, and I said, well, in the video here I wrote "end training." Don't realize what's if the dog and the tracker, or the trainer of the dog, the tracker of the dog, if they don't realize the dog is being poisoned, this might work. However, when one dog dies, right, they might simply just get another dog to replace it, and you're shit out of luck. It's like a new dog just took over, right? They switched the guards out. They had a switch of shift. right? Also, the trackers tend to have a soft spot for their dog. So if you killed a dog, you just pissed the dude off a lot. Okay, and now it's like, it may not have been personal, but you just killed his dog. So now it is personal, right? So if you're going to try this, you got to be clever. A trained dog and a tracker, they probably won't fall for something like poison meat, right? It'd have to be a slow poison, like a little bit here and a little bit there. Like maybe you even put a little bit in your footstep, so the dog goes and sniffs your footprint, gets a little bit in his nose over and over again, slowly making the dog sick. Again, I don't condone killing living things. And if you do this, you're probably, like I said, you're going to really piss the tracker off because you killed his dog, right? The other thing you could try is shoot the dog. This is extremely risky because your shot will give away your position, right? And then when you kill the dog, you piss the tracker off. Same problem. You use a classic setup like a tree in a field technique. There's a real simple technique. I won't go into it, but basically it's where it's a way to trick somebody into, you lure them out into the open. And normally in the original version of this technique, you shoot the tracker. But in this case, we're trying to avoid murdering human beings. So we kill the dog in this scenario, which is bad too. Kill something that's alive is no good, no virtue, but still, kill a dog is better than kill a human. And so if you lure the dog out and you shoot the dog, but again, this is bad because again, you even if you're a good sharpshooter, you hit the dog from like 600 yards away, still, bro, you know what I mean? You've kind of like you've engaged them. So now you've, even if only psychologically, you've touched them, which has sort of removed the psychological distance. When you're trying to get away from somebody, you're trying to break physical and psychological. You know what I mean? Break the physical trail, break the psychological connection. Because that, you know what I mean? Like, you don't want that tracker to have a generic mental image of you, right? And then, so if you reach out and touch him through something so personal as murdering his dog, right? You just reconnected with him psychologically. This is not a good idea, okay? So anyway, this is a last ditch effort. This is basically, if you've been trying to outrun this dog for days and this sucker just can't be broken and you're going to die if he catches you, right? Then yes, you shoot the dog, right? Okay. So anyway, alright, there you go, y'all. Hope that was helpful.